eTown Hall in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains. It's eTown with this week's guests from Texas, Brennen Leigh, from Golden, Colorado, Lisa Moray with Nova Terra, and from California and Texas, Dave Alvin and Jimmie Gilmore. I'm Helen Forster. Right now, join me in welcoming our host, Nick Forster.
Thank you, Helen. Thanks, everybody. Welcome to eTown Hall. We have got a thoroughly Western show for you all this week. Not that all the music is going to sound the same or that all this that's going to happen is not going to be relevant and interesting to people all over the country, but it's our guests are from the West. Lisa Morey is here. She is from Golden, Colorado. She's going to tell us about her new company that makes fireproof building materials out of compacted dirt. It's both ancient and new. It's innovative and just like the music we love, reflective of what's come before. Brennan Leigh is here, and she was born in Fargo, North Dakota. She grew up in Minnesota, right across the river. She spent some years in Austin, some years in Nashville. She's now back in Texas. But she is just a great singer and songwriter and a really good picker. She plays guitar and mandolin, and she's been doing great, especially lately. We're so glad she's here. Up first, we've got two good friends who were each part of legendary bands, now legendary bands when they were younger. Dave Alvin was in the Blasters. Jimmie Gilmore was in the Flatlanders. And they found each other along the way, and they began making music together. And they are like-minded souls coming at it from different directions, but they have a lot of musical roots in common, and they got together, they started touring together, they made a record together that was called Downey to Lubbock. I think that came out in 2018. And they got a new one now that's called Texicali that's come out recently. And it's just the greatest blend of old school stuff that they love, and they make it their own. They are characters, they are lifelong road dogs, they're good friends. They're 100% themselves. And we are really happy to have them here. Would you please welcome back to eTown Dave Alvin and Jimmie Gilmore.
It's great to be back.
Good to see you, Dave.
It's good to see you.
You've never been alive. Well, I've had my share, I survived. The way up ahead may not be clear, but I ain't worried 'cause we're still here.
Well, I had wild times in Houston at the Allen Park Inn. Sleepless nights of temptation and sin. Well, when they tore that joint down, you know I shed a tear. Now the Allen Park's gone, but Jimmie Dale, you know what, we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. We're still standing, no matter what you might hear. Here, we're still here. We just keep on rolling, 'cause we're still here. Take it, Nick.
never gone crazy, you've never been in love. Uncomplicated romance is unheard of. Love's a tangled tale of hope and fear, but I'm willing to try if we're still here.
Well, the music business man with the music business smile said the songs you write, Dave, sound really old and way out of style. But I've been popping these blues for over 40 years, and I don't know where the hell he is now, but we're still here. We're still here. We're still here.
We're still standing,
Yeah.
no matter what you might hear.
We're still here. We're still here. We just keep on rolling, 'cause we're still here. This is a true story. In New York City, land of cash and concrete,
We went the wrong way down a one-way street. We made it through that, so it's perfectly clear
that you could make it too, 'cause for some reason we're still here. We're still here. We're still here. We're still standing, no matter what you might hear. We're still here. We're still here. We just keep on rolling, 'cause we're still here. Thank you very much. You know, I pay my rent by writing songs. This song that Jimmie Dale wrote, it's number 2 on my list, top 10 list of songs I wish I had written.
tonight. Think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight, I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight, I think I'm gonna look around for something I couldn't see when this world was more real to me. Tonight, I think I'm gonna go downtown. Tonight, I think I'm gonna go downtown.
Dave, Alvin, and Jimmie Dale Gilmore, welcome back to E-Town.
Great to be back.
Good to see
Thank
you
you,
guys.
Nick.
Fun to play your songs.
Really good to be back.
I think our listeners know about your stories. I mentioned the Flatlanders and the Blasters, and you guys have made great solo records for years and years. So I'm interested in just checking in with you guys and getting some wisdom.
Well, you come to the right place.
I mean, for example, Jimmie Dale, I'm just trying to imagine you growing up in Lubbock and thinking about the music you heard as a kid, and whether it was Buddy Holly or Hank Williams or Roy Orbison or whatever it was that was on the radio. You figure out if a song meant something to you, like if it connected with you. Have you figured out a little bit about what that is yet?
Well, I ponder it all the time, but I haven't actually figured it out yet.
Yeah.
It's a mystery.
And when you're writing, is it the same thing? It's a mystery. You're just inviting the muse to come into your world, and you can finish the song and you can tell if it's any good when you're done?
Actually, I don't invite it. It kind of attacks me, you know. And what happens if I get an idea that keeps coming back? At some point, I'll go, I think it's pretty good, and then I'll work on it. I never did learn the trick of just deciding, I'm going to go sit down and write a song now.
Yeah.
And I kind of regret that.
Well, you know, they probably got schools for songwriting. And I'm serious.
No, it's just AI now.
Yeah, it's okay. But the trick about songwriting is that I've never met anyone that does it the same. I tend to be like Jimmie Dale in that I've never been a guy to do a lot of demos, and if I get a song idea, I don't sit and put it on a tape right away, because when I was about 13 years old, when my brother Phil and I used to follow around blues singers like Big Joe Turner, one day I wrote a song for Big Joe Turner, and I was walking home from school, and I had to walk about a mile from school to my house, and in that mile I wrote this song, and then a few days later I saw Big Joe Turner, and I said, "Hey, Big Joe, I wrote a song for you." And Big Joe says, "Okay, sing it to me." And I was like, and I could not remember it. It went right out of my skull. And Big Joe Turner gave me my first lesson in songwriting. He just goes, "Well, if you can't remember it, it ain't no good to begin with." And I've lived by that, you know. If, like Jimmie said, if you're walking around and the song keeps coming back to you, it's like, okay, that might be a good
There's
one.
something there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jimmie Dale, did anybody ever tell you look like that guy Smokey in The Big Lebowski?
Yep. Nick asked me that earlier, and I told him that the funny part is that there have been people that ask that question seriously. They thought, "Well, you really look like this guy that's in this movie that I like."
I have to I've never seen The Big Lebowski. You know, I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah.
So we're playing these gigs, and it was like there'd be these lines of people waiting at the end of the show. And so I'd walk out and like, "Okay, who wants an autograph?" And we don't want yours. And they all had Big Lebowski posters, Big Lebowski coffee mugs, Big Lebowski bowling balls or bowling pins. And I was like, I gotta see this movie.
Yeah.
I had no idea he was in it, you know.
Dave, I forgot to ask you about the LA fires. I know that so many people around you have been affected 12,000 buildings destroyed. And
Yeah.
did you fare okay?
Yeah, where I live, the hills where I live were fine, but my sister had to evacuate. And her house survived, thankfully, miraculously. But sadly, her entire neighborhood did not.
Wow.
And her 120-year-old olive tree survived. Her native plants all survived. The cactus survived. The succulents.
No, they didn't survive. They didn't survive. They unsurvived.
They survived.
Oh, the succulents did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I misunderstood when you
Yeah.
told me
No,
that
no.
story earlier. I thought you were
no,
saying
they-
that she lost them all.
No, they're all there.
And you made up a new word,
And
too.
but everything
Along the way, along that detour.
define unsurvived.
Yeah. We have some sad news about someone who's unsurvived today.
I thought you were just getting cosmic on us.
No,
I was like, wow.
Jimmy can get
yeah,
cosmic.
What
There's
does
no
unsurvived
Yeah.
mean? Boing, mind blown.
Well, I'm glad you fared okay. There's just a lot
Thanks.
to unpack over there. And just for full disclosure, everybody, I should let you know that I was in a band with Jimmie Dale Gilmore almost 50 years ago, something like that. And that we've been friends. The three of us have known each other a long time and hung out. And I get to play on your first record, the Downey to Lubbock LP.
Yes, sir.
You know, by the way, Janet, my wife Janet, the song she loved the most on that record was July, You're a Woman. And for a long time, Dave wouldn't play it because you weren't there.
Yeah, well, Nick did this amazing spontaneous mandolin piece, this 30 seconds of just brilliant borderline jazz mandolin playing. I can't do the song without Nick.
Oh, man. Well,
We're not going to do it tonight either,
yeah.
but
And I wouldn't remember it anyway, yeah. You guys remind me a little bit of Steve Martin and Martin Short, you know, just two like late in your careers, you guys are good friends and you bring some vitality to your out on the road performing and your time together. And it's interesting because in some ways it's an unlikely combination just based on your backgrounds. And in other ways, it absolutely makes perfect sense because like those succulents in your sister's backyard, they can survive a tough time, but they come from the same soil and the same roots, and they've flourished in this same environment in a way that's really beautiful to see you guys hanging out the way you do.
he's a poet. Thank you.
All right, well, listen,
Yeah.
we're happy that you're still doing it and making records. We got more songs to play. Should we play some more music?
Yeah.
It's fun. Let's do some more.
All right.
Welcome back, Dave Alvin and Jimmie Dale Gilmore.
All right, this is another song from the latest album we did, the Texicali record. It goes like this. Y'all ready? Now, this song is about a guy named Alan Wilson, and his story is a story about how all the wild things in nature and how all the wild things in music are kind of connected. It's midnight, Kansas City. There's a hot summer rain coming down. It's another gig, another bar room, way out on the outskirts of town. Folks are dancing, sweating, somewhere between salvation and sin. And when the morning sun rises, I'll be back on the road again. Heading for the next joint, I'm gonna make this guitar growl. I wanna blow the roof off it, baby. I wanna make that harmonica howl. Then I'll blow it for Big Joe Turner. Then I'll play the blues for the blind owl. Well, out in wild California, there's a redwood piercing the sky. rising up from the forest, over 300 feet high. And the odds are stacked against it, but somehow that sequoia survives. Standing strong, standing proud, and that's where the blind owl still flies. Head for the next joint, I'm gonna make this guitar ground. I'm gonna blow the roof off it, baby, I'm gonna make that harmonica howl. Then I'll go walking with Mr. Lee Allen and play the blues for the blind owl. It's a cold night here in Boulder, or any town along the highway. Load in the gear, whisper a prayer, and be thankful for every day. 'Cause the odds are stacked against us, but somehow we still survive. Standing strong, playing proud, that's where the blind owl still flies. Head for the next joint, I'm gonna make this guitar ground. I'm gonna blow the roof off it, baby, I'm gonna make that harmonica howl. Then I'll play one for my brother Gene Taylor, and then play the blues for the blind owl. Thank you.
Dave Alvin, Jimmie Dale Gilmore, along with eTones, Christian Teal, Adam Bodine, Eric Tureen. These guys will be back to play a lot more music later on in the show. Dave Alvin and Jimmie Dale.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Bohemian Foundation, building stronger communities through the bohemian qualities of creativity and imagination. On the web at bohemianfoundation.org. Hey, by the way, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that for your viewing pleasure, there are over 2,000 videos on the eTown YouTube channel, where you can also subscribe in order to stay up to date with our latest video offerings, including from this show. You're listening to eTown.
Thank you, David Lynch. We're going to have more music from Dave Alvin and Jimmie Dale Gilmore later on in the show. And of course, this great songwriter, Brennan Leigh, is here. She's just real talent. Glad she's here. You know, I asked Dave about the fires. The LA fires that I mentioned destroyed 12,000 buildings. There is a new awareness of how the climate crisis is affecting all of us, floods, fires, extreme weather events. We had a fire here in Colorado not that long ago that destroyed 1,000 homes. And there was a real desire to rebuild those houses using new, smarter technology. And a lot of those initiatives were relaxed because homeowners were underinsured and they couldn't afford to even rebuild the houses they had, let alone redo them in new and innovative ways. But the truth is, it doesn't always necessarily cost more to do smarter construction that reflects the changes that are going on out in the world. So our next guest has one of the many solutions out there. It's an affordable, energy-efficient, fireproof building material that she and her team have developed. It's both old and new at the same time. And we're excited to learn more. Please welcome to eTown from Golden, Colorado, Lisa Moray. Lisa, welcome. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, now you're in Golden. You're doing some work, I know, with the National Renewable Energy Lab. Mm-hmm. How did you get there? What kind of a path did you take to wind up in that particular spot?
I had an engineering degree, and I was an itchy foot 22-year-old, and I found an art school in New Zealand. So I packed my duffel bag and moved to Auckland, and was in an architecture program. I was fortunate to meet a builder who had done some earthships in New Mexico, and he...
Earthships, for our listeners, they
Yes.
are the rammed earth. Take old tires, fill them with dirt, pile them up against a hillside usually, and make a super well-insulated houses.
It's all about, using what you have. And so I partnered with this builder, and I followed his projects for a year, and then remained on the team and was a kind of a designer with that build team. Ended up living in New Zealand for about 5 years or so, and that's kind of where this all started.
Yeah. And so now the work you're doing with NREL and others is around doing research around new building materials that are both sustainable, affordable, and ideally fireproof.
You know, I've been caring about this building with earth concept that we've been doing for 10,000 years for so long, and have been talking about all the benefits. And it's really just been in the last 2-3 years that I've seen this greater level of interest, and receiving this grant with the Department of Energy that has partnered me with the NREL here to study the effectiveness of thermal mass in different climates, and also, the technical benefits, economic benefits, as well as life cycle assessment. So there's all these new words like embodied carbon and resilience, climate change that weren't part of my early studies.
Yeah. And what's nice, as I understand it, is you've started your own company. Novaterra is the name of it?
Yeah.
And so what your company does is they make essentially building blocks out of compressed earth, right?
Yeah, so I take a waste material from a quarry here in Golden, and it's delivered to my site, it's screened, it's kind of put in this Frankenstein system of hoppers and mixers and a press, and a small amount of water is added to kind of compress it with a hydraulic press, and then it's put straight onto a pallet and delivered to the job site.
Nice.
I kind of call it magic dirt because there's just this composition of the right amount of clay, and it has the right level of aggregates in it. So
does magic dirt help add a level of sophistication to your product, do you think?
I don't know. I think so.
Anyway, so I mentioned the LA fires because such a tragedy and so much reconstruction is going to have to happen. Have you had a chance to reach out to the officials in LA, either the planning department or zoning or permitting people? Or
Yeah, I have a colleague, an architect in LA that's working on this front. And California is so interesting in that adobe and dirt and earth are so accessible, and it's been a hard product to monetize for that reason. And so it hasn't gotten a lot of funding for keeping the building codes and whatnot. And
Right.
I did actually ship blocks to LA before the fires, but I recognize I can't just make these blocks and put them out there to the world and hope the world knows what to do with them. So we do the design and engineering and permitting, and then work with masons on the installation.
Well, it sounds like it's the right thing at the right time. Maybe you should call it crypto bricks or something.
Ooh.
I don't know how you would get people's attention. So
I know. Historically, like some people have built with actually putting cow dung in the blocks.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a good like
I can see-
stabilizer. And so, someone smart poet, marketing guy said, what do you call them about bricks or something?
Yeah. Well, there's the brick house. That's, it's another thing. I can see your marketing team is going to have a lot of work to do, but the truth
It's a
is,
challenge.
is there a website if people want to learn more about what you're up to?
NovaTerraUSA.com.
Nova, Novaterra.
Correct, yeah.
USA.com.
Yeah.
And are you envisioning a scenario in which your company is able to set up multiple manufacturing facilities around the country, different regions?
Yeah, a vision is to create these sites where the energy model that I'm building with NREL can support the use of the thermal mass in these various climates and accessible, quarries,
Nice.
and whether it's New Hampshire block or
Yeah.
that's kind of the vision, is to set up different sites that are supporting those communities.
Congrats. I think it's a cool idea, and I'm so glad you could join us and share a little info. And NovaTerraUSA.com if people want to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Lisa,
Leight.
thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Lisa Moray from Golden, Colorado. In case you just joined us, you're listening to eTown. Dave Alvin and Jimmie Gilmore are going to be back to play some more music in a little while. Right now, I'm going to tell you about our next guest, who is Brennan Leigh. Brennan Leigh, as I mentioned, was born in Fargo. She grew up right across the river in Minnesota, Moorhead. She started playing in a band with her brother when she was a teenager, and they were drawn to bluegrass and country music. And right off the bat, she knew that this was something she was good at and could keep doing. And then as a young person, she moved down to Austin, Texas, got into the midst of the Austin music scene, made a bunch of friends, and really focused on writing. She started recording, I guess, almost 20 years ago, and she's still really young. She's written songs that have been recorded by people like Leanne Womack and Charlie Crockett. She has made a record with Asleep at the Wheels, Ray Benson, and that band down there, Western Swing Records. She loves Western Swing and classic country. She's a real deal writer, singer, picker, all-around good person. Please help me welcome to eTown for her first visit, Brennan Leigh.
Well, it's wonderful to be here. I'm very excited for my first time on eTown. I've been hearing about it for years. This wonderful band, learned my songs today. It's just been delightful.
People only stop here because they're passing through, and I bring them up for diesel, cigarettes, and Mountain Dew. They're headed on to Dallas and Memphis, Tennessee. I've never been past Little Rock, and I'm damn near 33. I'm gonna tell my you so much. It's wonderful to be here.
This is a true story about an old friend from back home. It's called the North Dakota Cowboy.
That North Dakota cowboy I still dream of now and then. When I think back on my younger years and he was all I knew of men. He never put a hand on me, though I know he loved me so. But we'd sing all night till the sun rolled out like a blanket on the snow. His eyes were green as Norway pines, his laughter warm and pure. But he felt a burden in his mind even love could not have cured. And that North Dakota cowboy, handsome, young, adored, rode off into the prairie sky in his rusty yellow Ford. You know he didn't ride a wrangle, but he had a cowboy's soul. I was not the only one by far whose tender heart he stole. Gallant as a soldier from some ancient book of lore. Every year I'm getting older and he just stays 24. And when the ice breaks up in springtime and the little calves are born, peeking through the thawed-out ground are little blades of new green corn. Graham Parsons on the AM dial, smoking with the windows down. I still look for him in Fargo every time I'm back in town.
Brennan Lee, welcome to eTown.
Thank you so very much.
So good to hear you play and sing. I'm just interested because I don't know a lot of people who grew up in your neighborhood. You know, were born in Fargo, grew up in Moorhead, and back and forth across the river. What can you tell us about it?
Oh my goodness. Well, I've lived now away from it longer than I lived in it.
Yeah.
People notice I don't have a Midwestern accent unless I'm in Texas, and then they hear it.
Yeah.
Elsewhere, I sound like a Texan. There's a lot of Norwegian and Swedish Americans.
Yeah. Is that your ancestry?
Yes, Norwegian.
So the cold doesn't bother you?
Well, of course it does.
And then you spent a bunch of years in Austin. Was it a congenial place for you to land and find your way as a songwriter and a singer?
I guess when I got there, there was still some remnant of that slacker town vibe. Get up at 11, go get some breakfast tacos, play some music, go to your gig later maybe. And then it became busier. Austin, Texas is one of those places where you can still play 7 nights a week if you want to be a local and just play locally. I did that for a while. It wasn't what I wanted to do long term. So I'm mostly on the road now, and I do get to Austin now and then.
I think I read an article where you were talking about how there was a little bit of underlying sexism in the Austin music scene.
Well, you're putting me on the spot a little bit, but you're correct. I wouldn't necessarily say Austin as much as just Texas. And I say that with love. Full disclosure, I'm an honorary Texan. I have a certificate on my wall from the state of Texas that says I'm an honorary Texan.
Wow.
Because I love Texas so deeply and Western swing music and Texas music. But we do have a little issue with labeling gender as a genre there.
Yeah.
And it's not that we don't have that everywhere.
Yeah.
But it was a thing for me.
Yeah, less so when you moved to Nashville?
You know, it's still the South.
Yeah.
It's still country music, but I think when it came down to it, when I got to Nashville, at least from the business side of things, people understood, whether they were sexist or not, that women were lucrative as artists.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
So it's hit or miss. It depends on the spot.
Yeah.
And if you put the squeeze on people, sometimes they'll get better and forget and stop acting like that and start booking women.
Yeah, that's why I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm trying to help people just wake up a little
Well,
bit.
it's real, and,
Yeah.
and there is a pay gap, and there
Yeah.
is a belief that we're somehow a different species. I don't know how people in 2025 walk around still thinking of us as not half the population and not human, but it's a real thing. And women's music is very entertaining. I mean, just look at Dolly Parton or, Taylor Swift.
You don't need to convince us.
I know. You seem very receptive to my
we're-
feminist rant here.
Yeah, we're... this-
I do have to say, though, a lot of my success in the long run has come from the state of Texas. A lot of the good things that have happened to me have to do with this band, Asleep at the Wheel, that am associated with. So
Ray, I texted Ray Benson this morning from Asleep at the Wheel and told him you were on the show today, and he said, Brennan's the bomb. But the fact that you've done your homework, you love the music of Bob Wills, you love the music of Webb Pierce, you love the music of the Delmore Brothers, you love this fundamental classic roots of where this American tradition came from, and you've studied it and you appreciate it, and then you're contributing to it, carrying it into the next generation, which is absolutely deserving of everyone's respect.
well, thank you very much.
Yeah, not kidding. Not kidding.
Well, it just spoke to me. It just has spoken to me my whole life. People ask, what is country music? And to me, it's just rural people's stories, right? And that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's very, very diverse genre and a very intelligent genre.
It's so easy to try to say, oh, you remind me of this person, or so your songwriting is like this. But there are a few songwriters, and I guess I could say like Randy Newman or Lyle Lovett or Guy Clark, or a few people where there's a great story, well told, but there's also a little kicker. There's a little wink. There's a little extra something in there that you manage to get into your songs, which I really appreciate.
Yeah,
Something
there's a lot
unexpected.
of old country songs that kind of have a surprise at the end or some kind of little turn. And you feel so good about yourself as a writer when you can get that in there.
Yeah. Well, you do it.
Thanks.
Well, let's hear some more. Welcome back, if you would, Brennan Leigh, now
Thank
living
you.
in Texas.
All right, yeah.
Oh, Carol with an E. She's the finest trucker I have ever seen. Though to slow her down or rain on her parade. In pearls and kitten heels, she'll slam that hammer down on 18 wheels. A red soap vine blasting, everlasting, how I'd like to be like Carol with me. She ain't afraid of any grade. She's a doing her thing in the left-hand lane. There ain't no town clown gonna slow her down or rain on her parade. In pearls and kitten heels, she'll slam that hammer down on 18 wheels. A red soap vine blasting, everlasting, how I'd like to be like Carol with an E. She's a K Adams blasting, everlasting, how I'd like to be like Carol with an E.
Thank you very much.
That's Brennan Leigh from down there, not far from Houston, Texas, along with eTown's Christian Teal, Adam Bodine, Eric Tureen, Helen Forster singing harmony, and Justin Hoffenberg on the fiddle. Brennan Leigh.
Your visit to eTown is made possible in part by the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, or SCFD, one of the largest cultural funding mechanisms in the United States, supporting nearly 300 organizations in the greater Denver, Colorado area. You're listening to eTown.
I'm Nick Forster. You are listening to eTown. I want to say hello to all the folks who are listening to eTown right now on stations like UMFM 101.5 in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Thanks for tuning in. Canada, I wonder what you think of us right now that we're looking at you, Canada. On KGNU 88.5 here in Boulder and Denver, Colorado. Yeah. And on WIUM 91.3 FM, Tri-States Public Radio in Macomb, Illinois. Thanks for listening, everybody. As you know, if you want more information about any of our guests, lots of stuff is online at etown.org. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm having some fun. I'm having fun with these characters, these students of what came before, creators of what's coming next, including Brennen Leigh. It's great to get to know her. Great to see Dave and Jimmie Dale Gilmore again. Lisa Moray, really, again, doing the same thing that the musicians are doing, looking at what came before and embracing the best of that and making something new. And they're all Western. They're all Westerners, wide open spaces with an eye to what's possible. We are paying attention. We've got to look out for each other, folks, and learn from the past. Be kind, use some common sense, take care of each other as best we can, take care of the planet. I know we can do it. We can do it, no matter what's going on around us. Right now, would you please help me welcome back to the stage Dave, Alvin, and Jimmie Dale Gilmore.
This song is one I wrote for my big brother Philip to sing. And I know he sings it better than I do. But he's not here.
Just sit in my car while
while you sing. So sad, Marie, 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 Marie. It's so lonely in these farmlands. Please come with me to the bright lights way downtown, Marie, Marie. I said, hey, pretty girl, don't you understand that I just want to be your loving man, Marie, Marie. I got 2 weeks in back pay and there's gas in my car. And your folks say that I gotta go, Marie, Marie. Yeah. Just sing, so sad, Marie, Marie. I said, hey, pretty girl, don't you understand? I just want to be your loving man, Marie, Marie. Playing guitar on the back porch or leaving my car. While you sing, so sad, Marie, Marie.
Wow, Dave Alvin and Jimmie Dale Gilmore along with the band, Christian Teal, Adam Bodine, Eric Tureen, Helen singing along. We have got time for one more song. I want to thank all our guests. Thanks to Dave Alvin and Jimmie Dale Gilmore for coming out all the way from Austin and from Los Angeles. Thanks to the eTones and Helen Forster. Thanks to Lisa Moray from Nova Terra, creating new fireproof building materials that's going to help a lot of people. Thanks, Lisa, for being a part of the show. Thanks to Brennan Leigh coming out from Texas. We're going to do one more song, and with both apologies and enthusiastic endorsement from the ghost of Hank Williams, I'm Nick Forster. Hope you can be with us next week right here in eTown.
Well, I left my home down on the rural route. I told my pa I'm going stepping out and get the honky-tonk blues. Yeah, the honky-tonk blues. Lord, Lord, I got 'em. I got the honky-tonk blues. Well, I stepped into every joint in town. The city life's about to get me down. I got the honky-tonk blues. Yeah, the honky-tonk blues. Oh, Lord, I got 'em. I got the honky-tonk blues.
Gonna tuck my worries underneath my arm, scat right back to my pappy's farm and leave these honky-tonk blues.
Yeah, the honky-tonk blues. Oh, Lord, I got 'em.
I got the
Honky-tonk blues. Oh, Lord, I got 'em. I got the honky-tonk blues. Oh, Lord, I got 'em. I got the honky-tonk blues.
This is a production of eTown.